We are joined now by Florida's Lieutenant Governor Jay Collins, decorated Green Beret, former state senator. He's speaking at the University of Florida Turning Point event tonight. And I know you're the lieutenant governor, but there's kind of a job opening going on right now at the University of Florida when it comes to head coach. I would imagine there'll be a little discussion about that at the Turning Point event.
You know, I think there just might be. It's a big deal down in Gainesville. We'll see what happens. We'll see.
All right, so you are the lieutenant governor. Obviously, we've had Ron DeSantis on this program a ton over the years. He's done a fantastic job. James Uthmeyer has done a great job as the attorney general. Buck is a resident of the state of Florida, so he is one of your constituents right now. As you look forward to what's coming, what can Floridians do to ensure that they end up in the same good governance universe that they're in right now?
Well, that's a great question. And I'll tell you what, it comes down to a couple things. One, you got to dig in and know who you're voting for. You got to look at track record. It's not just about saying that we're going to get things, saying we're going to do things. You got to get things done. Say what you mean what you say, follow up with actions. Those are the things that matter. The thing that has made Governor DeSantis who he is a man of action. He says it, he means it, he does it, and then he follows up and holds people accountable. That is a great recipe for good governance.
Lieutenant Governor Collins, appreciate you being here. And yes, I am a proud new Floridian, although I like to point out that my wife is a born and raised original Floridian, so right. You know, I get a little bit of extra authenticity there now in South Florida. A Gator grad, and her family actually lives in Tallahassee, so I get to spend I'm one of the few people I know of who doesn't work for the government of Florida, but spends a fair amount of time in Tallahassee, and doesn't go to college there. But anyway, on the property tax issue, I want to ask you about this, and I'm asking it because I actually think there's a broader philosophical point here that applies to people all across the country. The notion that you can never really own your home and that you have to continuously rent it from state and or local government, I think is problematic. I think the notion that you can't just own a place and stay there and that you are subject to the constant possibility of price hikes, et cetera, is not where we should be. And I know that Governor DeSantis really wants to get rid of property tax. I know it happens at like the county and local level. Who's standing in the way of this, and how can we get this actually done?
Yeah, so I 100% agree with you. The American dream is to own your home, and you never really own it if the government can take it from you. So what we want to do is exempt homesteaded properties from property tax, cut and dried. That's got to be a ballot initiative. You know, we're going to push for legislation to be done, to run it through there, and do all of our math to take care of this, but it's going to have to go on the ballot. People are going to have to show up. They're going to have to check the box, vote yes, if they want that to happen. But it's incumbent on us to do a good job of presenting this. The governor is going to bring out his approach with details here shortly. And when he does, you know, I would love to come back on here and hit his talking points, what he's going to do. But the fact of the matter is this: it's a de minimis amount of the money dedicated that comes to property tax that's dedicated to homesteaded properties, between 6 and 8% of most counties' budgets. Those are the numbers we're seeing right now. That's solvable. That's achievable to get the government out of your homesteaded property.
This is what's so important. I think Lieutenant Governor, people hear this and they say, "Oh, but what about fire and police and and what about schools?" What you're telling me is, no, that can be funded by other means.
Oh, 100%. There are ways to make this happen. That's a small amount of your property tax budget that comes from homesteaded properties. No one's going to cut the cops. No one's going to cut the firefighters. No one's going to cut education. That will not happen in Florida. We back those people. We stand by them. We lead the nation in many of those things. So what do? We're going to measure a little bit. Right? We're going to go in and FAFO, as we call it, or Doge, as the federal government calls it, and clean up our spending in some of these municipalities. We're going to find ways to save via how we purchase. And then, we're going to go in and make sure those numbers make sense. It's got to go on the ballot. People got to show up. This is completely doable. I've been told.
This excites me because it would give us yet another leg up on these fancy Tennesseans who all are on Clay's team here for what the best new red state to move to for people, especially from the Northeast. So, we need to stay competitive here with Tennessee and the great state of Florida. Go ahead, Clay.
Jay Collins, Lieutenant Governor of Florida, with us right now. Speaking of competitive, when you see that New York City may be poised to elect a communist in Mamdani as mayor, do you look around and just expect, we already know that there's been a huge influx of New Yorkers to Florida. Buck is a good example, but there are probably millions of people who live in Florida now that had northeastern grew up in the Northeast. Do you look at that and say, well, we got a bunch more coming? Do you pay attention to other states like that and know that
Absolutely.
Florida is seen as a bastion of freedom?
Man, we're the conservative proving grounds of America. That's who we are. America is that shining city on the hill, and I think Florida is the light, right? We are shining on that because we're leading the way. We're highlighting what's right in America. The fact of the matter is this. Look, I'm a God-fearing, gun-loving, freedom-defending, one-legged retired Green Beret. I did 23 years. I worked with the ESU, the NYPD, the NYFD. We buried friends across the globe because of the war on terror. Of all the cities in this nation, why on earth does Mamdani have to be elected in that city? Do we really have to learn this lesson face first? How ridiculous is this? He's a watered-down communist, and we got to learn this in the city that never sleeps, in New York City. It's absolutely bonkers. It's wrong, and yeah, you're going to see a caravan of people come in, fleeing New York, just like during COVID, because of his horrible leadership. He's going to gut the state. There's work to do.
We're speaking to Lieutenant Governor Jay Collins of Florida. And Lieutenant Governor, as the name implies, you are second in state leadership. Our fantastic Governor Ron DeSantis, who you work very closely with, is unfortunately going to be termed out here. I know they had the No Kings rally. I don't know. DeSantis as King of Florida sounds nice to a lot of us, but the rules are the rules. But you, sir, would seem to be in a fantastic position to pick up the scepter and continue the legacy. Can you speak to that? Are you thinking about a governor's run?
Yeah, we're thinking long and hard about this. We've taken a very methodic approach to this. I had kind of a three-phased approach. It's a family decision. You got to make sure that my kids and my wife, the things I care about most, are straight and ready, that the support structure around that in my local community is prepped and ready. And then it comes down to leadership after who I believe is the GOAT, our greatest governor in the state's history. Frankly, probably the greatest governor in our nation's history. He's amazing. He's done an incredible job. Well, my approach, my type of leadership, be what's best for Florida. It's a we thing, not a me thing. And I'll tell you, we've really finalized kind of our approach here, and we're chewing on what our decision is going to be. So I would say stay tuned. We'll have some information to share here soonish.
Soonish, he says. Okay.
What do you think Ron DeSantis is going to do next? He's been obviously an incredibly successful governor. As Buck said, he is term limited out. So come next year, his tenure as governor will be over. What do you expect to see him do?
Well, I'll tell you what. The one thing I know about him, he's a conservative juggernaut, right? He is brilliant. He is hardworking. No matter what he does, he's going to make a difference because he's going to lead. He knows what matters. He fights for it, and then people get alongside him. There'll be a lot of opportunities. Not really sure where he's going to go yet, but I'll tell you, I'd bring some popcorn and watch because he's going to do something pretty amazing, I'm sure.
Well, we wish you well at the University of Florida at the Turning Point event tonight in Gainesville. We know we have a lot of Florida Gator fans listening. I hope at some point they end up with a football coach again, because as a Tennessee fan, I'm not that ecstatic for them to get another football coach. I'm fine with them not having one. But Lieutenant Governor, we appreciate the time. Good luck at the event tonight. We're glad you're doing it.
Hey, I appreciate y'all. Thank you. The event's going to be great, and God bless both of you. Appreciate it.
Thank you, sir. You too. The number of babies that are at risk of abortion remains very high day in and day out in this country. Now, that's a tragedy, but it's not one that we have to just sit and suffer in silence while it occurs, because the people who are working, the good men and women at preborn clinics nationwide, are saving babies, including one right here in Fort Wayne, Indiana. In fact, Preborn's nonprofit small headquarters office is based right here in Indiana. Their individual actions and efforts this year have combined to save the lives of more than 67,000 babies. And with your help, they think they can close out this year saving the lives of 70,000 tiny babies this year alone. The team of people working at Preborn provide pregnant mothers who come into their clinics with support and assistance so that they will see the light and choose life for their precious unborn baby. I've seen it firsthand at the Preborn Clinic in the Hialeah community right near my house in Miami. One way that Preborn achieves this process, really a critical way because it's a first step in the process, is the free ultrasound that they give these moms when they come in. It's not a trick or a gimmick. It's just the honest experience of hearing that baby's heart at no cost to the mom walking in, and then the offer of assistance, love, and support so that mom knows she can bring that baby into this world and not be alone. It's a turning point for so many women, and they accomplish this with just an expense of $28 per ultrasound. You can help save a tiny baby's life today. Preborn clinics operate in communities across our nation where abortion rates are the highest, so they are on the front lines. To donate securely, $28 one time, $28 monthly, whatever you can spare. To donate securely, just dial pound 250 and say the keyword baby. That's pound 250, say baby, or visit preborn.com/buck, preborn.com/BUCK. Sponsored by Preborn.